is what we call a bare root. This is a shrub. You notice it's still dormant. That's important. As long as it's dormant, you can store them for some time. Now this one we had earlier soaked in water to make sure that we had a good wet root system. A lot of people want to leave it in a bucket of water for several days. Don't do that. You're going to lose viability in the seedling because it can't breathe. But go ahead and dip it in water before you plant it. You notice that we have some fairly long roots here. It's important that you work with those roots, because if you J-root it like this, it's going to have problems growing. It really wants to have, before it was ripped out of the ground so unceremoniously, it had its roots down in the ground. So we want to try to do that again. We want to watch for the root crown. Again, we can see where the roots stop. That's where it wants to go in the ground. You don't want to be burying this part, because that tissue is not is not adapted to being below ground. This part isn't adapted to being above ground. So try to find that same area that it grew from a seed in the ground so that you come out with the correct root area. So I'm going to put this down because I'm going to have to dig a bit more of a hole this time. You're going to see that we have very fibrous roots down here. Sometimes if you want to, this one doesn't have, they're not terribly long. Sometimes they'll be much longer. If they are, and you're just the fibrous roots, rather than J-rooting them and pushing it down in, feel free to go ahead and take some of the root off. That way we won't have roots poking back up, and we'll still have plenty of roots for the tree to prosper. You can use a knife, you can use pruning shears, whatever. So again, we're going to put it down in the hole, trying to find where that root crown was. In this case, the roots are setting right in there. They're not J-rooted, and then fill it back in. Screaming here, that's because mixed in with this topsoil here are lots of brittle cactus, and I seem to have found some of them as I'm trying to plant this. Again, make sure you got plenty of dirt. Step it in so it's in good and firm, and I would definitely water this one in when you're done.
For more information, contact your local conservation district by visiting the address on this screen.